to swallow their dignity, to kneel. And to get why Mary's stand was so powerful, we've got to look at the weight she was carrying, a weight that stretches back to slavery, through Jim Crow, and right into today's service industry. So let's break this down. First, let's talk about the history of black women in service work. During slavery, black women weren't just laborers in the fields. They were domestic workers in the big houses, cooking, cleaning, nursing white children, all while their own families were torn apart. They were expected to be loyal, silent, and grateful for scraps. Sound familiar? That expectation didn't vanish after emancipation. During Jim Crow, black women made up the backbone of domestic work: maids, cooks, laundresses, often working for white families who saw them as less than human. My own grandmother was a maid in the 1950s, and she told me stories of being called girl by women half her age, of being expected to smile through insults, of walking miles home because she couldn't sit at the front of the bus. And yet, she stood tall in her own way, just like Mary. But here's what nobody tells you about that history. Black women in these roles weren't just surviving, they were resisting. They organized in secret, shared resources, and passed down stories of defiance. In the 1930s, domestic workers in cities like Atlanta and New York formed unions, demanding better wages and respect. They didn't have social media to amplify their voices, but they had each other. And that legacy of quiet resistance, it's in Mary's DNA. When she refused to kneel, she wasn't just standing for herself. She was standing for every black woman who ever scrubbed a floor, served a meal, or smiled through pain to keep her family fed. Now, let's fast forward to the 21st century. Today, black women are still overrepresented in service jobs: waitresses, hotel maids, home health aides. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, black women make up about 17% of the service industry workforce, despite being only 7% of the population. And these jobs, they're low wage, high stress, and often come with a side of disrespect. I worked as a server in college, and I can't tell you how many times I was snapped at, ignored, or treated like I was invisible, all while being expected to keep that smile plastered on. That's the context Mary was working in. A world where black women are still seen as the help, where their dignity is too